I'm Nikki, and this is my first YouTube video. And I wanted to start YouTube just to have like fun, make videos, talk to people that I don't know yet. I like making friends. So I thought of doing a story time just to do it, and I'm just like, that's such a good idea. And I wanted to do a room tour, but I thought like that'd be in a later video, and I'll do that definitely, like show you my surroundings and like what I'm looking at and all that. So I have like this little thing right here, and I used to have a poster, but it just fell like before I started the video, and like when I was setting up. So that was amazing. And so let's just hop into the story time. And I've already introduced myself. So I'm Nikki, short for Nicole, and I was born a long time ago. Like, I'm 12, so I guess I could say my year. No, I'm not gonna say my year. So I'm 12, and yeah, you can figure it out if you want. Like, it's 2017. I'm 12. My birthday hasn't passed yet, so you can count if you really want to know. You can do it yourself. So, not trying to be rude, but yeah, I'm going to do a story time. So my life takes place in California. I am in California right now, but you'll see why I'm saying it takes place in California. So, it takes place in California. I was born here, yada, yada, yada. Don't remember much. I just remember, like, living in this beautiful house, in this beautiful neighborhood, having a park in my backyard. Like, really cool place. I didn't live there long. My parents got divorced when I was 3. Because, well, all I know is my mom was an alcoholic, and my dad was just very, very angry a ton. So my mom divorced him, got custody of me and my brother, and moved to Utah, where she came from. Because she came down here to work for United, airport place. And so yeah, she took us to what's it called? I can't think of it. Utah. And we lived there for about 2 years. Or yeah, we moved there and we lived with my grandfather for 2 years. And I went to the school called we're just gonna say Bush. Yeah, we're gonna name it Bush. And Bush Elementary, and I went there for a good amount of time. But before and while I was going there, I remember I went there like on the 5th week of school the 5th week that I was at my daycare, BB daycare. Like, I just remember it was like BB something, BB daycare. And so I went to BB daycare. It was like this very nice daycare, private school, like yada yada yada. My mom's working at a really good job. Like, she was the manager. She's been working there for a long time. So 2 years since I started going to this daycare, and so it was awesome. We had this awesome thing. Then I started going to school, and I used to go back to that daycare, and I used to get driven by the bus. But my mom didn't like it. She thought she would save a lot of money, which she did, of taking me out there, bringing me home, and making me be babysitted until she went to pick up my brother and brought him home. So she worked really long hours, and eventually once my brother left Rock Canyon Elementary, once he got when she thought it was just we don't need it anymore, she took me and me and my brother were out, and we moved schools because, number one, we just didn't want to be there. That school was a really good school. I not lying, I loved it. I loved their library, I loved their PE, I loved their gym where we had PE, and I loved their what's it called? I loved their cafeteria. Their cafeteria had a really nice setup, and I loved their music class. It was an amazing school. I loved all my schools, their setup and things like that, just in Utah. Yeah, Utah. And so we moved over to I can't remember the name of the city. I just remember it starts with an S. And so we went over there, and we moved to a school named we're just gonna call it 1, because I know it was one of the number 1 schools. We're just gonna call it number 1. So we're just gonna call it NB, because I know it was NB, something like that. So NB. I went to NB for 3 months when we moved houses. because when I was going to Rock King and things like that, I lived with one of my mom's boyfriends, Ian. His name was, like, I don't care if he sees this video, like, he's not gonna know me. He doesn't know what I'd look like. Like, I've changed so much from when I was little. Like, I'll give you a thing of when I was little, a picture, and then me now. This is me when I was really little, like, when he knew me, and this is me now. Like, if he would see me, he wouldn't know that this was me and this is me now. Like, he wouldn't know. So I'm not very worried about him, like, doing all that. He wasn't nice. He stole from my mom. I remember she telling me, he stole $1,000 from her. Like, a lot of money. And he had 2 kids. They were like sisters to me. I loved them. I remember I split my toe open and things like that when I was hanging out with him. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, I split my toe open, but it's just, like, another memory. It wasn't a good memory, but it was still a really good, like, a good memory, like, something that I can remember from them. But when my mom broke up, I didn't see them, like, at all, until one day where she had to go visit his neighbor, so I went over and saw him and saw Robin and Harrison. So, yeah, no, their names are Robin and Harrison, but, yeah, they won't mind if I do that, because I know, like, they were, like, all into tech and things like that when I was really young, where tech was just getting big. And so yeah, I began to, like, so I went to all these schools, and I loved BNB, and it had, like, a great playground system. I had a crush on this boy, and I'm like, I have a crush on you, and he's like, I have a crush on a boy, and he's like, what's his name? And I'm like, I'll describe his backpack. So I, like, describe his backpack, and he's like, you like me? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I guess I have 2 girlfriends now, and because he was dating a different girl, and she was, like, in 1st grade, and I remember I went up to her, and I'm like, you know your boyfriend's cheating on you, right? And she's like, okay, so? And I'm just like, you should break up with him. And, like, thinking, like, I could have him all to myself. And she's like, I think I'll do that. So she goes up to him and says, I'm breaking up with you. And he's like, what? Why? And she's like, because you're cheating on me. And she, like, just walks away, and I'm, like, skipping along in the thing, and he comes up to me, and he's like, how'd she know? And I'm like, I don't know. Know what? And he's like, how'd she know I was cheating on her with you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, don't ask me. And he's like, oh, okay. So, like, he gets all mad because he thinks that she, like, somebody told her, and he's like, when I ever find out that somebody told her, like, why she's breaking up, why she broke up with me, and yada, 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 and then I'm cheating. Whoever told her I'm never going to be friends with her, and yada, yada, yada. And I remember we were so little. Like, we were like, ooh, he broke up with her, yada, yada, yada. Like, it was such, like, the big deal of school. So I just loved causing drama when I was little. So I'd be, like, the little drama girl that goes up to people and, like, whisper little secrets about everybody else that I knew. I could not keep a secret back then. So then I moved to a different school after 2 months of being there, and he never found out, by the way, after 2 months of living there. And then I went to East. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it East because that's part of its name. East, and they had, like, this locker system, which I fell in love with. I had to go to anger management there because I bit a kid because they tackled me. It wasn't my fault. All these, like, 4 boys tackled me, and they were, like, in the 1st grade, and I was in kindergarten, and I bit a boy, kicked one boy in the area, and hit another boy in the nose and gave him a bloody nose. And I was a kindergartner. Like, I gave the dude a bloody nose, and I'm just like, bah! Like, it was funny. I laughed so hard. So they put me in anger management and called my mom up, and they're like, is everything okay at home? We're putting your daughter into anger management. And I'm like, I don't need freaking anger management. I'm just a girl that they tackled me. And I'm like one of those girls, like, denies everything. Like, they're lying. Like, I didn't lie. Like, I can fake cry. I can't anymore, but when I was, like, younger, like, this tall, I'm like, I didn't lie to me. I cried so hard. And they, like, believed me. So, but I don't, and then I guess bite marks they showed him and, like, all that, I guess, is how they caught me. I'm not sure. So, yeah, it was cool. So I went back, and, I went, like, back to anger management, and, like, and so I got to take some friends, and I got to play games, and I was excused from class. I just thought it was, like, another class I got to go to for fun, like, to take care of anger, but apparently it was anger management, which, woohoo, for me, yay. It was anger management, so that sucked. Well, now that I look back at it, like, I would never want to go to that. So then my mom began like to not be able like she took us out of that daycare, the BB daycare. No, it wasn't BB. I'm not sure what name I gave it. Hold on, I need to fix something. There, I got it. She took us out of BB daycare, and so sorry, my mouth was getting dry. She took us out of that daycare, and she started hiring babysitters, but eventually she didn't like babysitters, or any babysitters that we had. So she stopped hiring them and left us alone. And so it was like on and off, babysitter, not babysitter, babysitter, not babysitter. And eventually my mom just like, they don't deserve this, they need to go live with their father. So we moved back here. And my dad, he had a house, and me and my brother shared a room for a long time. Like a long time. At first I remember we had a bunk bed. Like, it was a really cool bunk bed, by the way. Like, I got to paint my side of the bunk bed, and my brother got to paint his, and it was really cool bunk bed. And then the bunk bed broke. Like, it broke. It was an old bunk bed. It was a cool bunk bed, but it was an old one, and it broke. So he got us new beds. And then, like, later on, he got us new mattresses and things like that. So that was pretty darn cool. And so it all built up to today, and soon enough we're going to get a new TV because me and my dad share a TV, just like putting it out there. So back to the story. I moved back here, and I lived with my dad for like the longest time. Like, I've been living with him for 6 years now. Like, not now, but it will be on December 20th. And this is 2017. It's 2017 January. So like at the end of the year, which like is not 12 months from now. So yeah, it'll be our 6th year anniversary, which will be awesome. So it feels like our 7th year, but it technically won't be our 7th year. Well, I guess it might be. Yeah, because I came in here in 1st grade, and now I'm going to 7th. So yeah, that's awesome. So I came back here. I was really young. I went to this new school. We're just gonna call it Joshua. I was like, I guess you could say the popular kid. And then I got hit by a car in 2nd grade. Not that big of a deal. Just fractured the arm. Cut my knee open with my scooter because it flung onto it. I could have gotten hurt way worse. Like, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, that was awesome. And then I got everything was all honky and dandy. Got my very first DAR, which is like a deficiency, like a bad thing where you get detention and things like that. So I got one of those, my very first one, for slapping a boy because he like was insulting my friend, and I was like sticking up for her. So I didn't talk to him for like a week because he got me a DAR, and number one, it wasn't my fault it was my fault, but I had good reasoning. Or from my perspective, like maybe you boys out there will be like, oh, you shouldn't have slapped her because we called her. I'm not gonna put this name out there. I'm like not one of those kids that says bad words and things like that. Like, I say refrigerator for the F word, and I say donkey for like the D word and like all that. And no, it's not that D word. It's like you know those things that are built to block water that they use dams, like the other definition of that with it at the end. So I use donkey for that and like all that. So that's just like my slang language. So yeah, and so I slapped a boy. Got my first experience there with like detention and things like that. And then so in 5th grade, at the end of the year, we moved to a new school. And this is where everything went downhill. Like, I was being bullied on and on, called the S word. Not like that S word, but, like, I think you know what it means. We're a prostitute. Except girl, like, other words for a prostitute. That's what I was being called. Like, every single day, I was being called the B word and things like that. I was just, like, being bullied left and right. Eventually, I got over it. Just started ignoring them like I do now. So that was awesome. So now then we moved to this house, like, after I got into that school, we started unpacking in this house. So that's where I live now. So, hope you enjoyed my story of my life. Like, I could get way more detailed. Like, it's already 14 minutes. Like, this would be, like, a half an hour thing. And that'd be, like, way too long. So I just, like, cut it down, like, took some experiences that didn't really matter into, and then I put them here. So yeah, and now I'm at my new school, have some old friends at this new school, and it's not that bad. Like, I guess you could call me like a girl that's well known, that's like known around, because I have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of friends. Like, I have a ton of groups I could hang out with, but I have my one particular one. So yeah, that's my story so far. I'm Nikki, and I guess you could say I'm signing off. So, bye.